What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of All Out War. I am Turner, and I'm in the studio with Rosey. What's up, Rosey?
What's up, dude?
Episode number 153.
Wow.
Yeah, 153. Crazy.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of episodes, man.
Yeah.
A lot of episodes. So, what do you know?
Hey, did you know that there are almost 4 to 5 times the amount of brown bears on the Japanese island of Hokkaido, Hokkaido, than in any of the continuous United States?
Oh, really? Brown bears?
Brown bears.
That's a lot of brown bears for an island.
Yeah.
How many? Do they have an account?
2 to 3,000.
Whoa, how big is this island?
I don't think it's that big. It's Japan.
Yeah,
that's
right.
One of the little, I'm guessing. But that's what's crazy is, so the United States has 32,500.
Yeah.
And 32,000 of them live in Alaska.
Oh, so there's only 500 brown bears in this, like the continental
In the lower 48, yeah.
Wow.
So there's 3 to 4 times as many in Japan.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's,
Knowing my luck, I would be like stranded on the island by like a plane crash or a boat wreck,
You wouldn't have
and I'd be food for them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, that's why you got to always carry a tactical. Like, you don't have to carry. You don't have to if you're going to Japan. You don't need to carry some big crazy gun like a 45-70 that can take out a bear. You don't need to carry some crazy
nuke
nuke
atom
or anything.
bomb.
You can't bring those to. They may stop you.
We've already delivered them.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying anything, but we didn't nuke. We didn't nuke
Not
Japan.
nuke. It was atom bombs. Yeah.
No, we didn't use any of those.
Well,
firebomb.
Yeah.
Nukes don't exist.
Right.
But yeah, you just got to bring a bunch of picnic baskets. That's how you do it.
Hey, boo boo.
Yeah. When you do that,
How do you do that in a Japanese accent?
Oh, it's a boo boo.
Hey, a boo boo. That's like a Mario.
Hayo, son.
Hey, a boo boo.
Boo boo, son. It's a picnic basket.
A picnic basket.
This will bring honor to my family.
Honor to my family.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's a good.
I've never. I don't think I've ever done a racist accent before.
That's not racist. How is it? I don't. When you do an accent of somebody, it's not racist. It's not.
Thank you. Okay.
It's not. I've never looked at that as racist. I
didn't think so. Get canceled anyways.
I mean, they make fun of every race. Makes fun of every race.
It's true. It
100%
just happens.
that. Yeah.
It happens. Yes. That's reality.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of Hispanics, and they make fun of white people as much as they make fun of black people, as much as they make fun of their own people.
Yeah. I have a Peruvian uncle.
There you go.
I think he's 70 years old. Successful. Started crazy chicken company, restaurants, all that stuff. He's been here he's 70. He's been here 40 years.
Yeah.
Still can't speak English. But
he's doing well. He doesn't need to.
He doesn't speak English that well, but he loves to
make fun of
everybody. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. That's a good one. I wonder if brown bears make fun of black bears.
Probably.
Or vice versa.
And they're all scared of
polar
koalas.
Koala bears?
Yeah. No.
Panda bears.
Panda bears, yeah. Because they all know Kung Fu.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not a racist statement. It's just Kung Fu Panda.
Right.
Yes.
There's a movie.
Or 2. I didn't make it up.
Right. All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
We have a special announcement on the other side of the break, so we'll sit back, grab a coffee, and enjoy.
You're listening to the All Out War podcast.
I still like that you put in the music.
What's that?
I like that you put in the music.
Of course I'm going to put in the music. It's the last time you're ever going to hear it. All right. Wow. So this is a difficult episode. This is a difficult episode. So it's a special announcement for Rosey. And There's a reason we haven't recorded for a while. We both have been going through quite a bit of stuff, personal stuff in our lives. And
quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. And I'm going to spare everyone, details of that. But in the midst of all of that, the Lord has been really speaking to you about some stuff. And so I don't want to steal your, thunder, but I
don't have any thunder.
It's not thunder. It's really a rain cloud. But why don't you share what the Lord's has put on your heart?
Yeah. And I will say that it's gone through an evolution, so to speak, of like first, there's some other stuff that I was like, oh, okay, this is thinking about, like some other stuff. It has nothing to do with what we're about to say. And then through independent people, I'll stress that, is suggested something. Didn't suggest, it was more so like, hey, God told me this.
Right.
And I was like, whoa.
Confirming stuff.
Yeah. And well, it kind of...
well, why don't you first tell us what it is, and then we can go back and talk about like we can kind of autopsy it a little bit.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just going to be taking a step back from the podcast, an indefinite hiatus as of right now, and I don't know what that means. I don't think either of us know what that means right now. It doesn't. It means this could be a month or two.
Yeah.
It could be a couple months. I don't foresee it. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it open-ended.
It's very kind of keeping it open. I will say it's not saying goodbye. That's for sure. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Seeing it's I'm like trying to not get into all these specifics because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No.
But
you felt like the Lord was kind of putting it on your heart, pressing that onto you, and then you had some independent, unrelated, unknown people who had no clue,
right?
Felt compelled to share with you.
Yeah, and I guess more so the kind of what I was kind of alluding to is there was some stuff that God was just moving in me.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey, you need to look at this. You need to implement this. You need to implement that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to take a step back from this. You need to take a step back from that. And those take a step back from was not the podcast. That was not in my head.
Right.
It was just like, hey, you need to start doing this. You need to start doing this. Shape up over here. Trim this fat. Do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It literally. Yeah. And then so someone first was, came to me, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but they were like, hey, I was praying and God told me that you should take a step back from the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And they're like, whatever. And I'm not saying whatever, but I'm not going to get into the conversation.
They had more stuff.
Yeah. And it confirmed other stuff that I was hearing from God, where it's like, hey, implement this. And this person was like, you need to implement this too. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So there was evidence of being at confirmation that was not from this person for whatever.
Yeah.
Not some other outside meeting. So then, I told you about that, and we're like, well, I guess we're going to see what happened, what this means. What does it mean?
Right.
Like that kind of thing. Not what does this mean for the podcast necessarily at the beginning, but, and then literally like 2 days later, because I told it, I think it was on an episode when we were about to record because we were sitting here. And so it was a Sunday.
It was after we'd finished recording. Yeah. That's when you dropped the bomb on me.
And, and I even said at that time, I was like, hey, look, this is, what this person told me. I don't know. We should pray about what this means because there's other stuff that has come up that the implications of me leaving. I'm not trying to say anything, but, what does this mean?
Yeah.
For whatever.
Right.
On Tuesday, like that, the next 2 days from then, someone else completely independent was like, hey, I was praying, and this was I was praying for you, just as I normally do, and God told me this. I'm like, well, I don't know what that means. Like, I mean, I know what it means, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so
I was in denial. And I kept like bringing up, hey, when we do this, when we record this episode, when we record it.
yeah.
And then you finally were like, dude, I'm out. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, we're not friends anymore.
Right?
Like,
You broke up with me.
Stop bothering me.
I'm going to have to block your number.
You lose my number.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, keep going.
Which I was great. So I know what everyone is, people are asking. So does this mean the podcast is over? Is it quitting? I'll answer that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I just want to continue this
Yes.
because this has been an evolution for you for sure. And in thought, like what's God saying, and the bottom line, and this is what I've told you, and I think all of our listeners, as much as they're going to hate, as they're hating hearing this, we only want you to be obedient to what God's telling you to do. That's the absolutely most important thing. And the last thing I want is for you to be sitting across from me every Sunday night when we record, and God doesn't want you sitting across from me when we record, because that's not good for you.
Yeah.
And if it's not good for you, it's not good for me.
Right.
You know, if I'm trying to push this thing through, right? But I wanted to tell you, this has been crazy. Like, I know it's not goodbye.
Yeah.
It's I'll see you later. And we don't know when that's going to be. So I've had some weeks to process it. So I thought, I was like, man, I'm going to probably cry or something like that because I'm a feeler. And I might well up. But I was thinking back historically, you know, 153 episodes. I know for some podcasts that's nothing. Like they churn them out like daily and stuff. But for us, like every one was work because we did research, we had guests we had to line up, we did. And anyone that's tried to do a podcast or does a podcast that's even listening right now, they understand what I'm saying. It just doesn't, you just don't hit record and it happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot, which I didn't even realize,
Right.
you know, when we first started.
Yeah.
But we had many iterations. It started off with me, you, and Cody. And then Cody went and he started the Shield Wall podcast, and he kind of did his own thing for a while. And then it was like me and you, and then it was like Kevin, and then Ethan, and like different people would sit in and then we decided, you know, you and I kind of decided like we'll get some guests on here. And so we started to reach out to people to see if they'd be a guest and we could interview them. And then it just kind of settled into you and me. And for a majority of the podcast episodes, it's been you and me.
Yeah.
And a guest, if we had a guest on. And it's always been really cool. Like we've learned how to work together.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like a relationship, like a working relationship.
Yeah.
You know my cadence when I'm talking, when I'm thinking. I can look at you and you know I want to say something. I don't even have to like, and
Yeah.
I know with you the same thing. And that's kind of cool. Like that over. I think I looked at it the other day. There's something like a straight, like you could listen from like episode to episode. There's like a month worth, like a straight, like 30 days straight, 24 hours a day.
Jeez.
That's how many hours of recording and you've been on every one, I think, except for like maybe one or two.
Yeah.
So, so I'm thinking in my head when you're telling me this, I'm like, well, great. What am I going to do? Try and do this on my own? Like this is insane. Like I can't do that. And nobody likes me anyways. They like you. So
remember we did a poll on Instagram and everyone liked you more.
no, they don't.
Yes, they did.
They don't though. That's the thing. It's like,
The only people that checked me was your family because they were being nice.
no, that's not true.
You held a gun to the head. You were like, you better do it to Rosey. We don't know where he's at.
No,
Just kidding.
it's not true.
No.
I mean, the greatest thing we're going to miss is the did you know?
Yeah.
And thankfully, and this is it, like behind the curtain, I've never known ahead of time what the did you know is ever, not one time.
It's true.
And my favorite ones have been the ones about bears. Remember
Or animals.
Remember the bear that fought in the war?
Yeah.
Was it Poland?
Poland, Wojciech. Yeah.
Wojciech. Yeah, I love that.
I'm
bear.
still gonna get a tattoo of him. That's so cool.
Dude, that would be awesome. If I ever get a big dog, I'm gonna name him Wojciech.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
dang
for
it,
that.
you stole not only my pet name, but my first son's name.
Your son's gonna name
Yeah.
Wojciech.
I'm Polish, dude.
Hey, I'm not gonna have any more kids, so you don't have to worry about that. We're done. We closed shop a while ago, but but yeah, and like God really, like, I think back, I think like I remember texting you when Heiser said he was gonna come on, like when he agreed to come on. I got the email and I was like,
then we got into an argument. Do you remember that?
I don't remember. About Heiser? Or
yeah, because he was like, can we do this day? And I was like,
Oh.
I gotta work. And you're like,
that's right.
I don't want to throw you under the bus. You're like, it's Heiser though. And I'm like, dude, I have a job.
So did
like,
I.
I know. But yeah, we made it. We made it work.
We did make
fine.
it work. Yeah, he was actually really cool.
Yeah.
People don't know this. Like, here's another behind the curtain. We record on Sunday nights, and so our guests, we ask that they can record with us on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
And graciously, every single one of our guests, except for one person, has agreed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it does work. Sunday night works really well because most people are just kind of and it's in the evening on the East Coast. So, but that one person, I'm kind of glad he didn't, because
then we've had two.
Oh, really?
Do you remember who's the median theology?
Oh, Dr. Olson.
Yeah, we had to do that at like it was like Wednesday at like 1 p.m.
Was it really?
Because he's old and
oh, yeah. He was like 90.
He was 90. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember that, but yeah. I mean, we try to, for certain people, we would probably make a change, but like, and it was a lot easier for me. My schedule was much more flexible at that time.
Yeah.
I was actually, I think, working from home, so I could just be like, long lunch break.
Yeah.
Here we go. But yeah, so we would record on Sunday nights, and the hours of recording, and then we would finish and get it to editing and posting it on the on the site, and so it could go to everyone's podcast, and you and I would just talk for another hour or two.
Yeah.
And there was some nights over the years.
I usually get home at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's pretty late. Yeah. My Mondays suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now here we are, and we're gonna enter a new season. So
for a bit.
For a bit, yeah. It's a new season.
Yeah.
It's a new season. So the Did You Knows are not going to be a part of it, which sucks. Maybe you can just like text me and Did You Know?
I was thinking that, or call in or something. I don't know.
Do a call in. Let's pre-record a bunch.
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
I'll just drop them in. That would be cool. Well, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We may not or may be able to do that. I don't want to make promises we can't keep. But, I just want you to know, man, like this has been really awesome. And I've told you this many times. This is my favorite like day of the week is to be able to, the end of the day Sunday.
Yeah.
And my family has adjusted. Mm-hmm. Like they're like, "Are you guys recording tonight?" Okay, cool. And if we're not, they're like, "Oh, you're not recording tonight? What's going on?"
Same with mine. Yeah.
But yeah, and like when I'm laughing like this, like I just did, like that's genuine. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm not always like that. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, man. Well.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's funny. I don't know if it's funny. It's kind of surreal sitting here because it's at the same time, like, I don't know if people... I think of maybe like TV shows or movies where all of a sudden some actors and actresses, maybe they're like a couple on a TV show or something like that. And then you find out in real life that like they hate each other, right. And they only like turn it on for like the episode, or, when they're recording or whatever. And then afterwards they're like, I never want to work with that person ever again. That's terrible. It was so bad. They were, a jerk or whatever. And so I'm kind of sitting here where I'm like, we literally talk every day. Like we're friends,
right.
Like outside of the podcast.
We get wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walk with each other through everything, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the podcast.
So let me just, for the listener, let's talk about what might be, what we're looking at in the future.
Sure.
So as Rosey is going to step away for a little while, my big prayer was like, what do we do? Mm-hmm. Do we keep going?
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
I just, I don't know. I feel like I'm not equating this to something else, which may sound like it is.
Okay.
So I just want to get this out. this is not like a sin issue that like I'm stepping away from like being like the guitarist in the worship band. It's nothing like that. Like like I'm not.
I don't hold those standards to you anyway.
Right. Yeah. But in case anyone is, it's not. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like it's
Rosie's not going to jail. He hasn't like. Yeah. There's no.
Yeah.
We don't make money on this podcast, so he's not embezzling.
Right. Yeah.
And our friendship is intact, like completely intact. Like
we're not. We're not losing friendship.
Yeah, we're still gonna play pickleball and stuff. Yeah. But for real, thank you for saying that. That's good. Yeah. So we want the wondering people to know. Yeah. No gossip, But the question for me has been, what now? What next? And I was actually really torn because some people know, if you listen regularly, you know that we that because of the studio is in my home, and because of some family issues and stuff, we're remodeling my basement. We're doing some things, and I'm losing our studio. Right. So, but God like almost instantaneously gave us a new location for a studio, which is actually probably nicer. And so we were like, oh wow, that's an answer to prayer. But then I started thinking like, well, maybe Rosey stepping away and then us losing the location of our spot, like maybe that was a sign God trying to tell me, okay, this season's over. You've done it for 4 years. It's time to move on.
Almost 5 now.
Almost 5.
Next month.
Yeah, and hundreds of thousands of downloads. It's like insane to think about. Like it's insane to think about everything that's the past almost 5 years. Yeah, I think May is 5 years.
Yeah, so we'll just say 5.
Yeah, 5 years. Wow, that's crazy. And then our good friend from Despite Popular Belief, Stephen, he is finishing, and I was like, well, Lord, are you trying to tell me that I should be done too? Like, is this? Because like I was just saying, like before we hit record, I was like, I always imagined that the rapture would be the end of our podcast. And it would just happen. Boom, we're done. And the best thing would be like if we were actually recording, Yeah. But obviously the Lord knows everything. So we have a plan to continue the podcast. We're going to continue the podcast, and it's going to be a little different, obviously, because you're not going to be on it, so it's going to have to take a little bit of a different. It'll feel different and all, but I think the same heart and spirit of it will be there, and that's my goal. And so we're gonna, you're gonna take your hiatus. I'm gonna try and move quicker, so we don't lose a space. But I think all in all, I think that our regular listeners will be. It will be a little bit of a stretch, but I think they'll be happy. Yeah. Not that I'm trying to make anybody happy, because, like I said, you get this free. So it's not like I'm trying to like worry about how I'm gonna keep listeners so I can pay my bills.
Shareholders,
right? Yeah. There's none of that. But truthfully, I have heard from several people independently who didn't know that you were stepping away. That, hey, man, don't stop doing what you're doing. This is great. Yeah. We love it. I love it. And
that was one thing that I even told you when I said this was this, and I keep bringing up like the studio where it's like, dude, this was a couple months ago when we found that out. And where, you told me on a Sunday, and then Monday you're like, bro, dude, like we got a studio. And it's, dude, okay. So I'm like, awesome. That's the kind of fruit that like, or we must be having some sort of fruit of that's God. I see that as God saying, here you go. And that was the big thing that I have kept saying over the past couple of weeks. Where I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to end. Yeah. And the suggestion that I had is, it's not through coercion. Right. And even that came organically before this stuff happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was actually, some of these changes were actually brewing.
Yeah.
Before you felt, Yeah. No, I agree. So we're gonna just continue to seek the Lord and let Him direct our steps and how this is supposed to go. And I'm confident that whatever it is, it'll be fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I mean, here's the truth of the matter. If we disappeared tomorrow, a week from now, no one would remember us. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's that quick. It happens that quick. They'd find
It's
a new.
true.
They're hanging on by his thread right now, as it is, right? You know. And there's probably somebody who's listened, just found us, and they're like, "This is the wait, what?"
Yeah.
They're, you know, just hang in there. Hang in there with us. Pray for us. Pray for Rosey. You know, pray for Rosey. You know, pray for God's will over all of us, and we appreciate that. We pray for you guys. Just so you know, we pray for our listeners.
Yeah.
Some of them by name. I've done that. We've done that before. But man, I just want to say to you, Rosey, thank you for just you were, and I say this like in the most like in the best way. You were responsible for ruining a big part of my life in the best way.
Yeah.
Like helping red pill me. I hate that phrase, red
Yeah.
pill, but really when God was awakening me through, you were kind of like, oh yeah, you think that's crazy? Let me tell you about this, you know. And then you would just like slowly feed me like this drip, like IV drip of waking up. And God used you in a lot of different ways. And you know, I'll never be at your level.
Oh my God.
But for real,
It's not true.
But for real, I still remember our very first episode that we ever did with Ethan about conspiracies. And he was talking about hollow earth, and I had never heard any of this stuff before.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? That's insane, you know? But, you know, now I'm like, there's lizard people that are being coronated as king.
Yeah.
Could be true, you
Yeah.
know. And you're, you know, 9/11, whatever, 911, yeah. But anyways, dude, I don't want to keep this going too much longer because there's how much more can we talk about it?
What's so funny is like if I just envision we have this little like this episode, and I don't know, maybe people will care or not. And then all of a sudden it's like a month from now, so it's like literally 2 episodes.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm back.
I'll be down with that.
Wipe your tears from your eyes.
Right.
I have returned.
I've returned. The prodigal son is back. Yeah, baby.
But
Well, I think it's going to be good all around.
Yeah.
Change is hard, but you know, our God is always on the move, and
yeah,
in this world, the only thing eternal is God. So nothing's going to last forever here. So
Yeah.
we just got to get used to that, you know. And but I think that I'm hopeful for this next season of the podcast.
yeah,
And
me too.
you know, we'll see what God wants to do. What's up his sleeve,
Yeah,
you know. But I just want to tell you, I love you, and
thanks, man. I love you too.
you know, and it's 153 episodes in, and I could do another 300, and I would never get tired of it.
Me too. Yeah,
You know, honestly. But we'll see what happens.
yeah. So
If you're listening to this and you've listened this far, first of all, thank you. Second of all, go show Rosey some love on he runs our Telegram channel if you're not on Telegram, but you can also do it on Instagram, and I'll make sure he sees it.
Oh.
We'll figure out a way for him to see it and everything. But just show him some love, and we will return. There will be, at the very least, we'll have you come back for like a special episode reunion or something like that. You know, we could, you know, just to see what happens. But God's got this.
yeah.
So
And I don't know. I was just thinking of this correlation, kind of what we were talking about when we recorded. Literally right before this was the Christianity 101 podcast.
yeah,
And just the idea of letting go, you know, like what was that phrase that I used? Deeper levels of surrender.
yeah,
And so that's kind of like what I'm going with, and it's taken God a while of like hit me upside the head, you know, with some stuff, and it's like, okay, I get it, and yeah. So I was just thinking, sitting here, I'm like, it's gonna be so weird when all of a sudden, like I hear that. Well, actually, it won't be weird. I was gonna say when I look at my phone,
yeah,
and all of a sudden a new episode pops out.
yeah.
And I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't know what it's about. I gotta listen to it. Which is so funny.
You're
because
finally going to start listening to the podcast.
I'll finally start listening to the podcast when I don't have to hear my own stupid voice. Yeah. Actually, I probably will. That'll be the first time I ever listen to an episode is when I don't have to hear my stupid voice on it.
All right, so episode 154.
154. I'll start listening.
I'll give you a shout out.
But I was gonna say at the same time, like I won't know what you're talking about. But it's like I'm still in the group chat, like
Yeah,
and I could like help out.
This is this is like you have like ownership in this thing, anyways.
Yeah,
so.
we created a baby, just.
That's right.
I'm just giving it to you for a minute.
Or shared custody. Is that what this is?
Yeah, or yeah.
Are we
I'm going on
separating?
vacation. Listen, I found a newer, sexier, younger podcast that I'm gonna go
is it
be
blurry,
with for a little bit.
Be honest, is it Blurry Creatures?
Listen, I had to sign an NDA.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm bringing the glasses, helping them maybe not be so blurry anymore.
Oh, right. Clear creatures.
Yeah, bring some Jesus in there.
No, we love those guys. We're not.
Yeah.
We're just. We just aspire to be as successful as they have been.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, Rosey, I love you, and
thanks, man. I love you too.
And we'll see what God has. I'm looking forward to it, and obviously you and I are going to see each other anyway. So
yeah.
But for all of our listeners, I can speak for them and say we love you and thank you for all of the did you knows and wonderful insights that you've always brought to the podcast and the great questions to our guests.
Thanks.
So
yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be only It's so funny. I just keep thinking of like chronologically. It'll literally be like 10 episodes, and now I'm back, and people will be like, "Why did they do a whole episode about this? This is so weird."
Yeah,
but we'll see. Yeah,
because we just don't know.
Yeah,
we just don't know.
Yeah, we'll be.
All right, guys. Well, Rosey's last sign off.
Yeah, I love you all.
That's it.
That's it.
I'll leave it at that.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the All Out War podcast today. If you had a blast, then we'd love to have you back for another episode. So please subscribe and leave a review. We love to hear from you. You can also follow us on Instagram at All Out War Podcast or on Twitter at AOWcast. These episodes are also available on YouTube unless they contain a little too much truth. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.